Good evening, Emergency Encounters. Doc and I decided to start the road trip series back up again that Jess and I were talking about. And we had done a series of towns where we go into the history, the fun stuff to do, and the hauntings and legends of the town. And so Doc, being new to the road trip series, he picked Duluth, Minnesota.
I have not. It was a random shot on the map, and Duluth. I have purchased some. Here's a shameless ad for the Duluth clothing, but I have bought some of their underwear before, and we'll have to admit that they are very comfortable. But anyway, no, I have not ever been there before.
So we thought, okay, so Jess normally covers the history, but I'll go ahead and take that for tonight. And the history of Duluth is kind of interesting. I know I'm going to slaughter some of these names, guys, because there's Native American names and some French names. But okay, so the Anishinaabe, I think that's how you say it, Anishinaabe and Dakota tribes were the first known inhabitants of this Western Lake Superior region. And it wasn't until around 1650 or so that there was a Pierre Esprit Radisson of France began exploring the name. And he apparently, Duluth came about the name like in 1856. And it's the name that recognizes another Frenchman that I cannot say, but it's like Duluth, Sierra Sieur, Sierra de Lute. And yeah, so basically these guys were fur traders. And that, Minnesota, if you've been up there in the wilds, oh my goodness, it's a lot of, there's wolves and there's probably, I would imagine, mink, and there's otter, there's all kinds of critters that they're trapping up there, right? And so they run trap lines, and they still do it up there. Nice. But it really kind of didn't take off real fast, and I can't imagine why. It's like 40 below, 50 below in the winter. I mean, go figure. But same can be said of our neighbor Montana. It had a kind of a shaky start, and a lot of this information comes from their Chamber of Commerce website, but in 1857, they had an economic crash. And then, like so many towns, they had scarlet fever epidemic.
Oh.
That was just wiping people out. And it's so hard. They have a lot of resources there. So they have a lot of mining in copper. They have iron. And then they have a huge lumber industry there. And that kind of helped solidify the town as being a town. But it's hard in these places like this, So there was a financier that came up, and his name was J. Cook, and he was part of the Lake Superior, Mississippi Railroad. And so once they brought the railroad into Duluth and made it a terminus there, then that's when the town finally started growing. And that we see that a lot.
Yeah. Railroad usually does bring business and livelihood to towns. They do have the Railroad Museum there at Lake Superior in Duluth. So.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I know in Texas it was you can count every 30 miles is another town because it was a railroad stop and a DQ. So in Texas, every town has a DQ and a rail stop. And so, all right. So in 1871, they dug a canal so that ships could easily enter the harbor there off the lake. And then in the 1900s, apparently Duluth handled more tons yearly than New York City.
Wow.
That's pretty impressive.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And they had a ferry that would take people point to point on the lake. And Duluth was one of the stops. And then they had this really heavy duty gondola that they could put gear in and transport it. So they had it going on. The ferry bridge apparently was really unique, and it was assembled in France and then brought over. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. There's a channel, the St. Lawrence Seaway, which is a 114-mile channel between Montreal and Ogdensburg, New York. And that was like 1959. And Duluth was kind of prime and ready for that channel to open because they had all these goods coming and going. And so with the addition of the bridge, with this big canal and this big channel, now ocean-going vessels could come all the way into Duluth.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's 2,342 miles from the Atlantic, but Duluth is considered the biggest inland harbor in the world.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
So this bridge, this aerial lift bridge that they installed, it rises to 138 feet in 55 seconds.
Dear Lord.
Just shoo, straight up. That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now it's, there's the warehouse district, there's the downtown district, there's all these districts in Duluth, and there's a lot of shopping and a lot of venues and lots of restaurants, and it seems to be really busy. You have the harbor district, and so it in the 1970s so a lot of the industrial companies closed, and we saw that all over the country, right? Pennsylvania got hit because there was a big steel plant in Duluth. It got hit and it closed in 1971. So there was a lot of problems with unemployment. We saw that everywhere in the US. But the town or city actually recovered. And I think that's pretty cool. A lot of these towns didn't really recover well, and Duluth is one of them that did. They really worked hard to overcome the fact that some of these businesses shut down.
I know that according to one of the websites here, they did have a role in Prohibition, which they had it become a hot spot for the rum runners. So I'm pretty sure that had a little to do with some income coming into Duluth there, being a key player from bringing in Canadian liquor through there. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Minnesota is a pretty neat place. I've been up there in the middle of winter, and it's crazy. So they say that the average temperature up here at Duluth is like the minimum is -1 degree. They're lying. I have been up there, and I've been up there in like 40, 50 mile an hour ones, and it was 40 below.
Wow. It is, and I'm going to totally give away my geography here. Is it close to Idaho or Ohio? Ohio.
Minnesota, no, you have Ohio, then I think you have Minnesota, Wisconsin, Ohio. I think, no, Minnesota is more geographically center in the US, but it's right on the Canadian border. It's right at the top. So you have the Dakotas, and then I think you go into Minnesota. Maybe I'm blowing my geography, but then I think you have Wisconsin, because we went into Wisconsin to go get cheese, of course, cheese factories. And we were skiing, we were cross country skiing up there, and there like wolf prints everywhere, and you could hear the wolves, and it's kind of crazy. It's cross country skiing everywhere up there. And I suck at that. So I'm not very good at cross country. I'm not very good. I grew up around Lake Tahoe and didn't ski. So that tells you something. I was not into it. Anyway, they do say that the minimum temperature is -1.2. And like I said, how cold it is. I remember at my friend's farm, he told me, he goes, just stick your hand outside with a mug of beer, okay? Because we don't have that Midwest accent. So I stuck my beer out the door, and then he goes, okay, that's enough. Bring it in. And I brought it in. It was frozen solid.
Oh, wow.
Just in seconds. My beer was frozen solid. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. It's so cold up there. So I don't know where they get these stats, but they're lying, because it's way colder than that.
Maybe they're not counting the wind chill factor.
Well, yeah, and so that's the thing with Duluth, right? Is it has that wind chill effect, or the wind. Where'd you go, Doc? Hey, Doc. Hey, Doc. Hey, Doc, go back out and come back in.
There we go.
Oh, okay. I was just sending you a message.
That was odd.
Okay.
I got kicked off for some reason.
I don't have your video though. I don't see you.
It shows it on.
There we go.
There we go. Okay.
Okay. That's okay.
Lights on now. Good.
Okay. Yeah, one of the things that Duluth is kind of famous for is the lake effect snow up there. So they, the climate, the currents, the air currents up there hit those Great Lakes and carry
gotcha.
all that moisture, and it gets cold and windy and snowy.
And again, I brought up Ohio because I went over there for a visit during the wintertime. I think it was early February, and it's, I know I was off one of the Great Lakes, and that was one of the first times I had ever been around or been in a state that covers everything with snow. That was before my Idaho exit to Idaho, but it really baffled me because I didn't have no clue on how everything can die during the winter and then come back during spring. And I didn't understand, and I couldn't fathom how humans can live like in that kind of weather.
Well, yeah, it is. I couldn't do it. I mean, it's too cold where we live now, and everybody keeps telling me, "Oh, this isn't bad." I'm like, really? Because we've hit 30 below in my here, and I know it's not common, but it's usually 10 below or 15 below we get. But yeah, it's cold.
Oh yeah, it's cold. Yeah. There's no argument from me. This is the coldest I've ever been, except for that one trip. So
yeah. I do have some facts, but I don't want to step on your toes. So why don't you go next? And if you don't have some of these, I'll fill them in.
I don't have a lot of facts. I know that there was the birth of Greyhound bus line.
Really?
Happened in Duluth. Yes, it is the Greyhound bus line. They started back in 1914. Really odd. I never knew that, but yeah, it started in Duluth.
How far have you taken a Greyhound?
Myself, this was Greyhound trip was in California from San Diego back in military to home. Just a couple of hours, never days. But again, this was back in the 80s, early 80s. Yeah, back in the 80s.
Well, it's funny. So my friend and I, when we got out of high school, we took a Greyhound from Sacramento to Lexington, Kentucky.
Oh,
holy crap!
Yeah,
that was the longest ride. It was days and nights and days and nights, and the comings and goings of people, and we were always there. And it was like, we're just never going to get there. We're just never going to get there. But it was. We met some characters, some of which I have never to this day forgotten, and we were 16 years old. It's funny.
I know that even just on that little trip, there was this guy, and I never forgot him. A guy sitting in front of me had 2 bottles of whiskey, one in his coat and one on this side. One of them was empty. I remember him getting on. I say he blacked out within about 45 minutes of the trip, and yeah, it was interesting. The restroom was just up on the back of the bus, but he never made it there once. But it was an interesting trip.
Yeah. What else did you find out?
I found out there is a legend of the Duluth moose. It's local lore. I guess this moose is called Tycho. He's roamed the streets of Duluth from the early 1900s.
Oh, wow.
And apparently he's like a local celebrity there. Um, then let's see. There was another one that I'm going to step a little bit on your toes here. Hold on. Not this one, but this is an interesting one. There was the first freshwater shark attack, allegedly, in Duluth.
Really?
Yep. It's a local tale. And apparently it happened. It didn't give the date, but it's a city's maritime lore. They talk about that, I guess, in the shipping yard. There was, hold on, there was another one that I found. Duluth haunted ship. Did you hear about that one? The William A. Irvine.
The Irvine, yeah.
Yeah. Is that one that you're gonna
No,
talk
go
about?
ahead and do it. You can go ahead and do that one.
All right. The SS William A. Irvine, a retired ore carrier, I guess, and now serving as a museum, is rumored to be haunted. It supposedly transforms into a haunted ship during October, I guess, and they allow thrill seekers to go through there, which I think would be awesome to go visit. And they say you can encounter ghosts in there.
Well, have you ever been on the Star of India? I think that's the one in San Diego.
Yes. I've never been in it. I've taken off from cruises right next to. Is it in the Queen Mary? The Queen Mary is the one.
Well, the Queen Mary is in Long Beach, but this one, the Star of India, I think it's called, is in San Diego.
I have not seen that one.
Yeah,
we have. I guess we have. The boss.
I see her in the background, David.
Oh, there she is.
Okay, so what else have you got, David?
Let's see. Duluth. Oh, it's I did not know this at all. I just ran across it. The Duluth model. It's a pioneer in the domestic violence prevention. Wow. I guess they take an innovative approach to addressing domestic violence, and it has been adopted worldwide.
Well, that's something.
Yeah, that is something else. I've never heard about it. I've worked with anger management and other domestic violence classes, but I guess it focuses on community collaboration, and it has been influential in changing how societies respond to domestic violence. That is interesting. That is something I'd like to look into. Definitely.
So one of the things that's it's the America's first indoor mall was there.
Really?
Yeah. That's pretty cool. It was in 1915. It was called opened in the Lakeview store. And it was innovative for its time. It was the first one, right? Where you could walk inside and you have all the shops.
How cool.
I know. And how about this? The birthplace of Bob Dylan.
Oh, that is super cool right there.
Yeah.
Wait, since we're talking about things of Duluth, they also have the largest rubber duck.
The largest rubber duck?
Absolutely. They have the largest rubber duck. It's as tall as ships. It's 6 stories tall. This giant duck. They even have a festival for it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is. It's one of their attractions they're known for.
Okay. First freshwater aquarium.
Oh.
So, yep. The Great Lakes Aquarium opened in 2000. So that was I guess so, because the Monterey Bay and the Steinhardt, I've been to those, but they're saltwater. So this was the first freshwater aquarium.
That would be an interesting thing to go look at. I've been to saltwater aquariums, but freshwater, it would be like, what do they have? Bass, and I guess they would have.
Have you been to the Steinhardt in San Francisco?
I have not. I have not.
That one is so cool. But I remember they had an octopus that would break out of his tank every night, and then he'd break into other tanks and then go eat the fish, and then he'd go back to his tank, and they couldn't figure out what was going on. This was long before indoor cameras and stuff, right? So they couldn't figure out what was going on, and they had a security guard finally staked it out one night and saw him doing it.
Oh man, yeah, I've read about that one. Yeah, that is awesome.
Okay, let's see. What else is there up there? The Skyline Parkway, which is an area where you can go and you can look. It's a scenic drive area, and it overlooks like Lake Superior in the city, and I bet that's really pretty. Yeah. What else do you have? You looked into some fun things to do, right?
I did not. I did not do them this time. Okay. Let's see. That is pretty much what I have.
Okay.
Moose, yeah. That is the extent.
Moose, that's pretty cool. Let's see. Yeah. So they have a few outdoor attractions and stuff like that, but let's look at some of the experiences there. You talked a little bit about they have what the train museum or something?
The Lake Superior Railroad Museum.
The Railroad Museum. Okay.
And then Lake Superior Zoo. They still have the aerial lift bridge. And the William A. Irvine Museum. I didn't know it was a museum. Nice.
Yeah, and like you said, you were talking about Duluth Trading Company, right? The Duluth underwear. That's That's pretty funny. I don't know if you guys have seen the ads, but they're pretty funny. Okay. Yeah, they are. So how about the Happy Hooker Charter?
I did.
And it's a fishing charter company called the Happy Hooker Charter.
Oh, okay. I was going to say I've never partaken, but
I thought it was awesome. They have the Great Lakes Aquarium, and I like to go through some of these things. One of the ones that looked pretty interesting to me. What is this one? It's the Gales of November, but I'm not sure. Yeah, they don't have much on it. I do have some of the hauntings, but I wanted to go over some of the stuff that you can do in Duluth first. And if you're from Duluth, leave us a comment. Like, what is your favorite thing? But this would be mine. That's Beaver Air Tours. So there are these Beaver airplanes are these beautiful float planes that you can take with these big radial engines, and they're gorgeous. And you can do air tours all over the Lake Country. And cool. Yeah, so that would be my number one top thing that I would have to do, followed by, of course, any ghost hunter stuff. But they do have, in the wintertime, it's beautiful. It looks absolutely beautiful. They have this thing called the Bentley View Tour of Lights. And it's they light up this whole area right on the water. And it's just like Christmas scenes and all this different stuff.
How amazing.
It's really, really pretty. That would be really pretty to see.
Absolutely.
They have a lot of brewing companies, which is I'm all up for. They have a lot of kayaking up there in the water, not only just the lake, but the waterways around the lake. And it looks like lots of fishing charters. Yes. And they have a really cool theater called the Duluth Playhouse. That would be fun. A children's museum and farmers markets and stuff like that. So it sounds like it's a pretty happening place.
It sounds kind of family and pretty fun.
So one of the things I was going to talk about is some of the hauntings that's in Duluth, and this one is called the Glen Sheen Mansion, and it's a historic mansion. It's 39 rooms, and it's pretty popular. I think it would be really cool. And apparently, it's one of the most notoriously haunted homes in that area of Minnesota. It's very, very haunted. And remember, peeps, that hauntings don't necessarily mean bad. It's just haunted. It's energy is left there. Somebody's lingering. So in 1977, though, Elizabeth Congdon was found dead in her bedroom, and she'd been smothered with a pillow. Yeah, her nurse found her. Her nurse was named Velma, and oh no, her nurse Velma was found actually beaten to death outside her bedroom.
Oh wow.
So you have those two murders there. There were suspects and a conviction, and initially the suspects were believed to be Robert Caldwell, which was Congdon's son-in-law, and he was later convicted, and then Marjorie Congdon, which was Elizabeth's, the lady who was killed, her adopted daughter was also involved and faced charges of arson and fraud. So it looks like they were probably going after money or something, right?
Yeah, that's
yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Since the murders, the mansion's been known for a lot of paranormal activity. So many visitors report unexplained occurrences during tours. Tour guides say that they have ghostly encounters constantly, and the mansion itself was built in 1908 and on the lake, right on Lake Superior, and so that's just apparently there's a lot of different stuff there. There's a company in Duluth called Duluth Ghost Tours, and they do guided experiences all over the Canal Park area. And so they talk about the ghost ships, the hauntings, local tragedies. Those ghost tours are always so much fun to take. Yeah, they're one of my favorite things to do when I'm out and about.
Did you get to see what is it? I'm going to butcher this word. Nope Ming Sanatorium, not sanitarium. Forgive me for that one. The Nope Ming Sanatorium, apparently.
No, that didn't come up.
This one is located on the outskirts of Duluth. It's a former tuberculosis. I don't have the camera. You're gonna get caught in camera. Okay. It is a former tuberculosis sanitarium that is rumored to be haunted by the spirits of the former patients.
Those things are always those places are always really haunted.
They really are, because in all honesty, I mean, how can you really can't differentiate between actually being possessed by whatever evil or spirit, or it being a mental health disorder, a true mental health disorder.
Right.
I mean,
exactly.
Don't quote me on that being a behavioral health professional, but yeah.
There's a place called the Rathskeller, and it's ranked one of Minnesota's top whiskey bars, which would be one of my favorite places to go. I love whiskey.
That would be cool.
Yeah, it's located in the basement of Duluth's 1889 City Hall. And so it was once a holding cell for the municipal court, which is one floor above, and it also served as a coal furnace room during the time that it was part of the city government center, the building. So they had, I guess in 1889, Duluth had a lot of jails, and they were spread all over the city. They didn't have like one large jail system. And because of this, the prisoners were taken from the old jails, like from City Hall, for their day in court, and then they would wait in makeshift these holding cells in that basement. So now there's this whiskey bar in there, and I looked at pictures of it, and it's totally cool. It's all stone walls, and everything is totally cool, and it's got tables and seating in there now. And there's rumors that it was probably a speakeasy at one time, which I wouldn't doubt.
Yeah, and that would fit in with the rum runners and.
Yep. So the name Rathskeller comes from the German word Ratskeller, which is defined as a tavern or restaurant located in the basement of a city hall. Wow. So it's a German word that describes what it is. And the bar opened in 2012, and it originally opened with just the dirt floor that the basement had, but since then they've made it.
I
scaled it, you know.
I was able to pull up a picture of it. You are right. It is cool, absolutely amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's been a lot of ghosts seen in there. There's a lot of apparitions, sightings down there. I don't know if it was old prisoners or people who worked in the courthouse, but it's pretty cool that they've had all these sightings down there.
That is cool.
And then another haunted area of Duluth is the Inger Tower. And it's a 5-story stone observation tower in Inger Park. It's on the west side of Duluth. And it used to be known as Grand Mountain. So you can go up to the top of the tower and view all over that whole area. And I bet that's really pretty. But visitors in the park report seeing a man on the 5th floor of the tower. But when they go up, then, they'll go upstairs. There's no one there. And you have to, it's not like he has anywhere to go.
Right. That is cool.
And there was another sanatorium that I'm not sure if it's the same one you talked about. I found this one called the Oppenheim. And it was also a former TB hospital. Could be exact the same one that you talked about. I'm not sure. Or maybe they had two.
This one, the one that I talked about, the Nopiming, is the former tuberculosis sanatorium.
Yeah, this was too. So I don't know if it was the same place with two different names. I don't know. It's been the site of a lot of hauntings. And then the Duluth Depot. That depot has had a ton of apparition sightings, paranormal activity going on. There was, so many train lines that came in there. I guess they served seven major train lines. So thousands of passengers were coming and going constantly. And people have recorded like hazy silhouettes and orbs moving about. And then there's a frequent sighting of a little girl that's dressed in all white. And somebody's actually gotten photographic evidence of her, although I didn't find it online. She was spotted in the background of a wedding photo, apparently.
Oh, neat.
Yes.
Oh, awesome.
Yes. And there were no apparent children at that wedding, so they can't explain why this child was in this picture. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Duluth sounds like a pretty neat place to visit. If you grew up there, if you've lived there, drop us a line and let us know what was your favorite activity and where's your favorite paranormal place. Because I'm all about the paranormal stuff. Cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of paranormal stuff, last night I had a visitor. Besides the regular person who lived in my house. That maybe that's a story for a different show, but it was interesting. I had to run him out of my bedroom last night.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, if you want to spill the beans, you can do it right here.
He was in there. He came in, and normally he never comes into the bedroom. He's always on the east side of the house, and you'll smell him smoking every once in a while, and we let him know, hey, stop smoking. But last night was the first time he came into the bedroom, and I smelled the cigarette smoke really, really thick, and I'm like, I sat up and I'm looking around, and he's standing next to the bed, and I guess he brought somebody to visit.
Oh.
Yeah, there was somebody else inside, and the dog immediately stood up and alerted and started growling, and I calmed Jasper down and let them know, hey guys, it's bedtime. Y'all got to get out of my bedroom, and had them leave the bedroom and shut the door. Not that would stop them, but at least it would take out all the light, so where I'm not bothered by them.
Yeah.
And, but it was interesting. I know for a fact there was at least one new one that he brought into the bedroom. I'm not sure if it was one of those come look at my human sleeping or kind of thing, or but
wow. That's nuts.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's crazy. And for those of you who don't know, Doc and his wonderful other half there, Mrs. Doc, they're going to take over the Magic Valley Paranormal, which is kind of an offshoot of Pocatello Paranormal, which is our team. And they're going to step into those shoes and take over the MVP reigns out in the Twin Falls area, Magic Valley area of Idaho. And we're excited to collaborate with them and let them take off and use that name and take it and run with it. And I think they're going to do great things.
I honestly believe that we are going to do great things as well. But yeah, it was interesting, and it's perfect timing. It seems to be a little more active, more and I may be wrong, but it appears there's a lot more communication that's trying to take place.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, really cool. And just a shout out for the paranormal class. It starts again on September 12th. The mailer should be out. Spots are limited, 15 seats. That's it. Once they're full, you have to wait a whole nother year to take the class. It's at ISU in Pocatello. That's where Doc and I met, and his other half back there. So we met there at the class and have become friends ever since. And we have a great time in that class. It's all about the paranormal, how to use some of your gifts, what all those gifts are, how do you describe them, how you use them on an investigation, and we wrap up with an investigation on the campus in Pocatello.
If you've never heard of this class or are interested, or even like me that was dragged into it by their wives because she was interested in it, and I ended up opening up because of the gifts that I was born with, which I used to call curses back in the day. But I can say that Colleen and her team are amazing instructors. If you have any questions at all about the paranormal or anything about gifts, highly recommend. I know that we only took in the class one time, but you can assure Colleen that we more than likely will be attending another class with you just to take it and just to be part of it, because the camaraderie, the stuff you're going to learn is amazing. You cannot pick this up anywhere else. This is real life experience talked and taught by people in the field who are doing it. So highly recommended. A+ for the class.
Hey,
anybody interested is highly recommended. This is, you cannot go wrong.
Well, thank you for the shout out. And with that, we're going to go ahead and call it an evening, and we'll be back next week with another location on the road trip. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.
Peace.